Yeah, it's quite interesting and funny because hoje Macau newspaper, the Portuguese, one of the Portuguese daily newspapers in Macau, they issue several books about Chinese culture and mainly about Confucianism philosophy, and I wrote some of them, and it's quite interesting when you start to study Confucianism, and you see that nowadays the Chinese society still follow the Confucianism teachings. Not only not only the universities still teach that kind of philosophy, but you can see it in the practical way on the daily basis way. For example, the Chinese society is still organized in a traditional and in a Confucianism way, where the very hierarchical. You still have different categories. Is a very how do you say in English? The organization is from the top to the bottom. Yes. And not only the in the social way, but also the companies still work following the Confucianism teachings. If you see, they still have moral and values and ethics principles, and when you compare with the Western societies and Western economies, you still see that the Chinese or companies follow values and ethical principles that the Western society lost in a certain way. So is the society, is the economy, is also the relation between the students and the teachers in the primary school and in the other phase of education, and until the university, the relation between the professors and the students is still very happens in a how can I say, people still respect themselves a lot, and yeah, I think it was important I think it was important what Professor said about Confucianism, because is that Confucianism still exists and is still very present in the Chinese society, and I think that's good. That's good because and lots of people now are more interested in this kind of philosophy, and because if you understand Confucianism, you can understand what's going on in China even nowadays. That's one point. At the other point, of course, this pandemic, what the other paper said, this pandemic in a certain way is making, maybe we are losing some efforts that were made to join the societies, the countries and the states. Maybe with the COVID we will see we are facing a situation. Maybe the countries will start to close again their borders to the leaders will be, maybe they are starting to be more selfish, and for example, Pope Francis said the vaccine should be given to everyone, but you know the most, of course, the most rich countries will try to get the vaccine first, and that's one example of selfish. And I think the COVID is making maybe the countries close again their borders, close again to and just see their own interests, and not seeing the interest of the humanity in a global way.
Just a technical remark.
Mm-hmm.
Mercifully, the role of the moderator will be reduced. I will basically refer to the remarks on the margin, just a technical note. If you have, I have, each one can place the remarks at the margin in the chat room. So we have received these feedback, what Father Jaroslav has channeled to me. So you have now, Mr. Encarnação, one key question is that C1, thank you for the vital role of Catholic institutions, what in Macau civil society, what happens if the Catholic service providers are in disagreement with other sectors, especially casino and entertainment industry, over breakups and ethical matters. And I'm wondering how the Macau Catholics navigate this relationship with these major economic players.
Yeah, I can give you my example. For example,
it's always the speakers at the bottom on the left. You just mute yourself when I speak, and when you speak, just you unmute yourself. So okay. Thank you for this tough questions. Thank you.
So I think I will give you my example.
Just at the bottom, you just unmute yourself. Yes.
Now, are you listening? Okay. I will give you my example.
On the bottom left, there is a microphone, and just you have to remove the red. Yes.
Okay, now? Is it okay now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I will give you my example. In our newspaper, before we never publish casinos advertising. We just publish SJM, on that time STDM advertising, because it were related more with the hotels and not so much with the casinos. But we never published casinos advertising. But of course we had to change that. We had to change that because we have to face the reality, and the reality is that the gaming industry is the main activity sector in Macau, and it contributes with almost 90% of the Macau revenues. And we cannot be in Macau, and we can't do things in Macau, and we cannot finance our activities in Macau if we don't understand that the gaming sector exists, and the majority of the revenues came from the casinos. And we understood that we should finance our newspaper not only waiting that the diocese give the diocese subsidy, but also we should also try to find other sources of financement. Of course, then we talk about it. We discussed a lot about this, and we decide to start to publish casinos advertising. Of course, the 6 operators in Macau, of course, when they send us the advertising, they not only focus the casinos, but they also leave the resorts, the hotels, the facilities, what they provide also for the families and so on. Because as I told you, the casinos also, the gaming operators, they also have a social obligation. They also have a social activity, and that's one of the points that they deal with the Macau government. Not only open casinos, not only open hotels, but also provide good things for the Macau people and the families enjoy. And I think what happened is we try to establish a good relation with the casino operators, and I think and at the same time we try to have a good relation with the companies. Like I told the energy company, the water company, communications company, because everywhere in the world this is general services, and nowadays is private companies that provide that kind of services, and they also want to say to people what they do and what they can, and they have economical activity, of course, but they also do things for the society. And if we work together, we could not only, in my case, we could not only give the news about what they do in their activity, but also what they do in their social activity. And this is a way for everyone share efforts and everyone share knowledge, and we create a better society. If we have some disagreements, of course, when the Macau diocese sign a protocol with a private company or sign a protocol with some association, you just sign the final version of the protocol when everyone is in the same has the same opinion about the things, and when they achieve a consensus about how they will deal with some issues. I don't see we live apart of each other. I see Macau a nice society where the church, as I told you, the church, the private companies and people could do things together, and understanding, of course, every part understands that we all have different visions, but the goal is always the same: is to improve the Macau people's quality of life.
Mr. Encarnação, would you like to respond to the question of Dennis? So it's facing reality of allowing casino advertising or the flow of 90% of revenues of Macau from them suggests that your perspective would not be a new paradigm, but a kinder, gentle version of the old. Would you like to address this question?
Mm-hmm. No, I think no, but for me, we can achieve a new paradigm of economy if we understand that in this case, for example, as I told you, almost only the gaming sector is high profitable. Then you have other sectors in Macau. They are profitable, but they are not much profitable. But the rest of the sectors are non-profitable. And what I say is the new paradigm of economy is we live in Macau. We live in a capitalist society, or in a capitalist society. We have the gaming industry that is high profitable, and we have the government. It has also lots of funds and lots of money, and we always guarantee that the casinos and the government, they subsidize the other sectors, even if because they are not profitable, but they contribute to diversify the Macau economy, and they contribute to guarantee and to that the people in Macau are also employed in other sectors, not only in casinos, in gaming industry. The new paradigm is, okay, we could balance, we could achieve a mix of capitalism and the kind of socialism. A socialism in a certain way that the ones who have good profits, high profits, subsidize the other activities, because I think it's a mixed. I always say to my friends that in the Western countries, you can see you have the capitalist system. The capitalist system is like you have is very liberal. Like, for example, all the sectors are they for example, in Macau you only have one company for energy. You have 3 companies for communication, but everybody knows CTM is the major company in Macau. You have one company for Macau for water supply, because these sectors, they belong to the government, and then it's the government who make the concessions to one private company, and the government at the same time controls the price of the water, the electricity, and so on. In Europe, is not like this. For example, you have several companies in the same country that provide water, that provide energy, that provide communications, and so on. So it's a competitive system where sometimes the consumers are not where the consumers are in the hand of the line. So here in Macau, you have a mix of capitalism and socialism, because you have everything belongs to the government, and the government make the concessions to private companies. You only have one company per sector almost, and then one of their duties is to give something back to Macau society. I don't know if I'm doing clear about this, but I can give you an example. When Macau as the government is the one who has the energy activity, is the owner of the energy activity, for example, but they give it to CM. And CM is only the one company who produce and distribute energy in Macau. But but one of the duties of CEM is giving back to Macau something, and they organize lots of social activities, and at the same time they organize social activities, they help other institutions, and they for example we publish some advertising of CM in our newspaper, and we all work together. In Portugal, my country, for example, now we have several companies that produce and provides energy. What happened is the government cannot because they are several companies doing the same thing in a small market, and the consumers sometimes are not the most beneficiaries with that situation, you know. So I think I think the capitalism is the best solution to make money, but at the same time you need a government that rule the activity of the companies and make the companies give it back to the society, something of what they of their revenues. And I think in Macau that works very well.
Now, can you unmute, please? I want to respond to the, I think, nice and provocative questions of Dennis, also speaking for somebody who's already, I think, still sleeping, Professor Mike Thompson, because it's the question how Catholic social teaching may be response in this situation of Macau. And so I think this goes to the core of the research project we are going to conduct with Professor Thompson on the stewardship codes. Stewardship codes have been developed in the UK, especially in the financial industry. And we think that we just cannot ignore the gaming industry. It's not possible. See, we are now the most successful country in the world. It's #1, of course, thanks to the gaming industry. And so we will conduct a research project how these different also casino operators implement their ethical codes. They all have ethical codes, and in a sense, I like this word, they are steward, you know? And also related to heritage. What is their role in this beautiful heritage of Macau? Now we have 15 years, Macau being declared as UNESCO World Heritage. So Professor Mike Thompson with a team of our researchers will conduct interviews on how this stewardship is implemented in Macau. And I think it's also the moment to mention that, as Bernard Lee in his remark points out, the Macau government played an excellent role in handling the pandemic, was extremely generous with his citizens. I think that's also a good way of, say, understanding what is the stewardship role of the government in a time of extreme distress. So I think we have already very well started, despite a number of deficiencies, unless there is now not an urgent question from the floor. We also want to honor the local participants. Would be the last maybe moment to ask a question. Otherwise, I would really like to thank, first of all, you here coming, and Mr. Encarnação for opening the floor with these extremely important key ideas on Catholic social teaching as outlined by Pope Francis. So we want to now further advance. And I think it was excellent that we started in Macau with these key provocative questions. So we have still a lot of work to do, but here is the plan. We have now the break until 11 o'clock, and you can continue, please, to use the chat room to kind of express your questions. And then here, thanks God, we should proceed like the program. It's with Professor Carlos Noronha at 11 a.m., who presents the, and with Jenny Guan Sandy Xiu, presentation on solidarity and fairness in the aftermath of Typhoon Hato. And then we have Bernard Lee from Oxford University on self-formation and self-cultivation, and Roderick O'Brien joining us from Adelaide, Australia, pointing then out at main roadblocks along the journey to a new paradigm. But so let us now make the break until 11 o'clock. Thank you very much.